most common questions I get asked is, what do I need to include in my portfolio? So instead of answering this question myself, I'm going to turn this over to the people who actually review your portfolios, our track directors. Let's see what they have to say.
When I'm looking at student materials, I look at three things: the GRE score, their GPA in their undergraduate computer science classes, and then their portfolio. So they'll send me in a portfolio. It'll have sometimes wide-ranging code samples and sometimes one or two, either which is fine. I look for C and C++ code primarily, a knowledge of demonstrating a knowledge of things like data structures and just overall code architecture understanding and how to put together a project. I get some portfolios that'll have a lot of web programming work in it or Java work in it, and while fine, I don't really base many decisions on that work, and so I would recommend to the students to just submit their best C and C++ work, even if they have more of the other types. I would stick to the C and C++. Probably the most successful candidates take their class projects from undergraduate computer science, save them, and then circle back and do a comment pass on them, and then zip them up and send them to me. Normally it's between 3 and 6 projects. A lot of times they'll have to do with graphics, maybe some simple games and things like that, but demonstrating a knowledge of how to put the code together.
Okay, well, first and foremost, we're looking for somebody who's got just raw artistic skills and technical skills. I think to convey your ability as an artist, I think the easiest way to do that is through drawing. Drawing is going to represent your ability to translate observation and what you see into recognizable form and detail. Also showing confident line work in your drawings, it's just going to show that you've spent the time to learn the skill. It's going to show your dedication to art and craftsmanship. I think it's also the quickest way to conceive and communicate creative ideas. And along the lines of drawing, I think figure drawing is probably going to help like nothing else to really be able to show your understanding of form. And we've admitted people in the past with just their abilities to do figure drawing. Sculpture would also be a good traditional skill to have. Also, the advancements in digital sculpting tools would be really great. There's a lot you can show with your abilities there. Obviously, animation would be a big one. Again, the computer there is probably a great medium for showing your animation, and then any traditional animation skills you have would also be a big plus. So like I was saying, 2D and 3D computer skills are definitely relevant. You'd want to show whatever computer skills you had. The whole key, though, what we're really looking for in our students is your very best artwork.
So what makes a good producer? Well, at the end of the day, producer is not what people think. A lot of people think it's a particular set of skills, like you're good at scripting or you're good at game design, super creative person. Those are nice things to have, but there's lots of different kinds of producers. There's managing producers, there's game designers and level designers and scripters and organizers and things like that. There are some common traits that they should all share, and those are the things that I look for in any general producer. One of the first things that I want to see in a good producer is a sense of initiative. You know, people who don't need to be told what to do, they don't need to be led by the hand through a series of complex tasks. They can navigate those things themselves. That's the kind of like the utility infielder that you really want to have on your team. That's a person who, they don't mind if they have to take on the not so exciting kind of grunt work. They can stand in when they need to do scheduling or they need to do this or that. It's somebody who will recognize when there's a gap in the process and fill it in. That's probably the #1 personality trait that I like to see in a producer. Beyond that, I think if you have the ability to communicate well, you know, if you can talk to people, if you're diplomatic, if you're mature, those are general things that, even though it sounds kind of a little bit trite, that's what's important to being a producer. That's why, as part of the process, I have to actually talk to all the production candidates before we allow them into FIEA, because You can't get a feel for that in a piece of paper or a project that they built. I need to talk to them on the phone or in person. One way or another, since personality is such a big part of being a producer, I've got to assess that before I can let them into the program.